Hey everybody. Today we're going to be scraping financial data from TD Ameritrade's stock screener. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to show how to get to the stock screener's page and show you how it works a little bit, and then we will start scraping the data. You will need a TD Ameritrade account if you want to follow along. But let's go. So under Research and Ideas, you go to Screeners, and then you can create a stock screen here. And you select some criteria. We're not really screening right now because we actually want to extract a lot of data. Why don't we just settle for these exchanges, not do anything on the OTC markets. Okay, so I've got my screen, and now I can change these views, right? So there's this basic view, which they let you export the data of this basic view, which is market cap, sector, industry, dividend yield, and beta. But for my analysis, maybe I want to do something based on like price to sales. So in that case, I would need to export this valuation view because that piece of data is in there, right? You can also create your own custom view, and you can add any of these columns. There's all kinds of stuff, right? Like Credit Suisse, CFRA stars, price changes, performance, simple moving averages, technical and fundamental. So that's kind of nice. Okay, so I'm going to actually open this in the table. And let's throw this to one side of the screen. Let's open up the Chrome tools for this window. And we're ready to get going. Okay, so as always, I have these steps on the side of the screen here, and I'm going to talk through them. First things first, we need to figure out where the data is being delivered from, right? We need to find the API. So let's go to the Network tab, and then normally you would have it on all. Usually I look at XHR first, so I'll do some action, right? I click on page 2, and then I see if the API is in here. Usually it's XHR, sometimes it's in doc. The reason I choose either XHR or doc is because if you look at all, then you can see that you get all of these scripts and images, CSS files, all kinds of stuff you don't want. Assets that don't contain the data. So in this case, it's in the doc, under the doc tab. So let's just reset it again, click on page 3, and you see, if we just stop it now, you can see you've got this results.asp. You look at the response, okay, this is just HTML, right? But then if we scroll down, you can see on line 270, the screener.setResultsData. And you can see ticker ALGT. So that's the data, right? Scroll over, input type. Yeah, we don't care so much about that. But then look, company name, that's the next column. Company format, sector industrials. And eventually you'll find PE and all the other data that's in here. Okay, so we know that this is the API that delivers the data. So let's copy that as a fetch, go back to our sources tab, and then we're just going to copy it in here and then log out the data just so we see that we've got it working. Let's run this one. And look, here's our HTML. Okay, so the next step is we need to actually extract that data, right? So it's a pretty simple script. We just take the HTML and we get all the elements by tag name, script, right? So we're getting the scripts. And then we're going to filter, and we want to make sure that it includes that screener.setResults data. Because if we look in the network tab, at the beginning of this script, there's this screener.setResults data. I'm guessing that's probably unique. So then we're just going to do a little bit more to clean up the object, and then grab the object and log the result. So if we run that, you can see 100. There we go. So we've got all our tickers. We've got the price to book, the peg, last trade time, all of this stuff that we want. Now that's basically it. The last step is just to paginate, so that we get all of the results instead of one page. Now there's actually 2 different ways to sort of do that. If there's less than 5 pages, well, we can get the parameters directly from the HTML because it's already in there. So let's copy this. Let's just see if this actually still works. I wrote this a while ago. I hope the HTML hasn't changed. Let's see if that'll go. Yeah. So these would be, well, the 4 URLs that we need to send fetch calls to. And then the 5th one is the page that you're already on, right? But if there's more than 5 pages, then we need to run it synchronously, so we don't do all the requests at the same time. We do a request, and then we will extract the URL from the response. So you can see the first thing I do is this, I get the request count. So I'm figuring out, okay, you got 5,558 results divided by 100 per page, right? And then round it up. So that's 56, right? And then we get our fetch string, which is just the first one, location.href. And from there, I'm just creating an empty array. We're iterating up to the request count, and then doing the same process, right? And then we get the next fetch string and we set it each time. So we're grabbing this, the URL that's behind there, that little link. We push the stock data into our main array, and that's it. At the end, we are going to log it to the console. Okay, so we've got all of our data here, and we've got our stocks, right? We've got the ticker, we've got all of the metrics that we want, and there's also these format columns. Originally, I wrote a script to like kind of parse this out. That was my plan, to extract data, and I was like making an object with only the properties that I want. But the properties will change depending on which view you select. And it's really just easier to go ahead and hide those columns when you get it into your analysis tool, right? So in order to quickly get this into Tableau, let's go back here. And I just copied this as I just store this as a temp variable. I right click, store as global variable, and then click copy and click type copy and then temp2. So that will copy it to our clipboard, and now we can just paste into Tableau. So Control V. And it'll take a second because it's 5,600 stocks. It shows us all our data. That's perfect. And then now we can just do some analysis. So let's put the industry up here. And then maybe we want the price to sales, and let's do median on this one. Median. Now you'll notice that this data is a little bit weird. You have negative 32,768. Well, that doesn't look right. And the reason for that is if we go to our data source, you can see that when we get to price to sales, if it's null, then for whatever reason, it's negative 32,768. So what I would rather do is just use this column. I'll just make this a number, a decimal number, and use that instead of this other one. And that's, that'll give us the right numbers. But yeah, let's go back to this. And instead of using that one, we want let's search price to sales format. And let's make that a measure. Let's make that a measure here. It's still a string. Why are you still a string, brother? Okay. Measure, there we go, median. And price to sales. So there we go. That's looking better. So there we go. We did it. We extracted valuation data from TD Ameritrade stock screener. We didn't have to stick with the basic view. And we're done. So as always, I will put this code on GitHub, and there will be a link in the video description. So good luck and have fun with that.